Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're back on with the slightly less, actually, let's just start with that, less rusty Vauxhall Nova, but there is a big hole, so we're going to try and fix that today and see how we get on. Apparently there's a repair panel inside for the lower skin, but we can't fit that because there's no bottom of the door, so we're going to get on with that. If you haven't already, go and check out the rest of the videos on this car. It is a very short series, it's a bit of a side quest, we're helping a friend out. It's been quite fun. I haven't done anything like this before, so I do like a challenge. This is one of the last big jobs, then I'm going to sort the battery tray out. I'll probably do the battery tray off camera because I genuinely can't even get in there to work, let alone to film. So we'll cover this, and then this will probably be the last video on this car, and we'll be back onto the other projects. But let's take a look at this door, shall we? Right, so let's oh, shouldn't do that. Why is it? Right, I think from what Pete's been saying, it's just, yeah, there's some bolts just holding the door through, so the hinges can come off nice and easy. Good. As you can see, it's a Bluetooth door bottom there. So not a lot in there. But what we'll do is I think we'll get the door off. Gives me a chance to get this rubber off because someone's come in here and rust treated this, and it's all gone rusty again, because they've not put primer on it. So while the door's out of the way and the weather's actually decent, I'm just going to give that another sand and a bit of a rush treat, and then I'll get some primer on that for him and ready to go. This may be the door panel in question, but we'll have a look. There's all sorts of bits and bobs inside, so let's have a look and see what we can find. Right, so I think the door might just come off if I can get these out. Just go get a punch. In fact, that'll work. Did you catch that, guys? Oh. I think we're away. I think we are. There we go. With the door off, you can kind of see that this is what the door bottom should look like, and it's been cut really tidily to a point about here, and then there's a corner bit left there. So some measurements have been done and stuff like that, so I think that repair panel is meant for this, but we've got to make this lip up first. So got almost scrap bin of various different bits of steel, but if you look at stuff like this, look, it's damn near close to what we need. So if I can pick through and see what we can find, we might be able to make the bottom of this door back up, get it all primed, get the skin ready to go, and go from there. But yeah, looking at this, I think there's been a lot of work done here already, so all the basic stuff like seals and all that kind of stuff's already been done. So while this is, once I get my head around that, I'll get this in some primer, and then it can be done and painted. Right, let's have some fun. Right, so as the rain starts, you can see what's happened here a little bit easier now it's outside. So I can make this bit back up. This is just flat steel, so I could weld to that edge there. So I can definitely deal with that bit. This bit is a little bit different. It's being hacked away and it's rotten a little bit more. So I'm going to do it in sections because I don't want the heat. So I think I'm going to make all that up to there. Then that's over half of it done. And then I'm going to measure how much metal's left there, and then we'll deal with this at the end. Let's not overphase ourselves, but I think if we can get that bit made up, I think we're golden. This is a bit pitted, but it's actually okay on the other side. It's also got a hole there, a little tiny hole. So what I'll do is I'll get my copper pliers on the back, and then we'll just fill that in with a bit of weld and tidy it up. But really, the inner structure of this door isn't really that bad, really. If it was a mini door, it would have dissolved. So yeah, not all too bad, I don't think. So right, let's go and find some metal and see what we can do, guys. So I've got an array of pieces of metal out of the scrap bin. Nothing is long enough to do it in one run, but like I mentioned, it's probably for the best because we've got, this isn't very thick at all. You can see just how flimsy that is. So I've got pieces of metal. So this bit, I haven't even cut this. This is just what was in there. That will do all the way along there, halfway down the door. So we're going to use that bit straight away to get us started. Now we just weld across the seam and tidy it up. I've then got this piece that can probably carry on to there. And then really that's where it starts getting quite rubbish there, which I'll probably have to cut into a bit more. So that's kind of quite good really. So again, I don't throw anything away. All my offcuts go in a little scrap bin. Yeah, so this whole car has actually been built up out of offcuts of bits and pieces. So we should be alright to see how we get on. So I'm going to get the pliers that I've got just to go on here. So basically, it has a copper bit on there. It's like the next got an opening. I'll show you in a sec. And you can just buzz through and it obviously fills the gap for you. So repair that. And then we've got the same thing there to repair. So we'll do that before we get that panel in. And then we can come up to here and call that done. This will be done for me, over a few days. But for you guys, well, you'll probably have a 20-minute video, won't you? Right, so that's that hole there that I said we could just fill with some weld, so that's that sorted and ground back. These are the pliers I'm on about, so one half of them's a copper handle, and then you just clamp it down and you basically use it as a plug weld tool. Very, very handy, nice bit of kit to have, very cheap to buy really for what they are, and they get you out of the hole. Done that bit there, so now we can fit this piece, the first repair section, and just work our way along. Don't look at that bit yet, it's not there, just focus here. Right, so excuse the noise of the welder. I'm absolutely buzzing with that. That is like, it's new from about there, but that is perfect. Really nice and smooth as well. Metal's really nice. Like, you know, that's not sharp at all. I finished it really good. Really happy with that. So that's a nice top part. We're halfway down the door now, so that's probably the easiest bit. I just wanted to get a feel for what I needed to do. But you can already feel the structure that's back into that just by putting that in, so I'm happy with that. We can probably get away with a similar repair all the way to about where my welding lance is, and then it gets a bit funny down there where a lot of it's disappeared. So there's like factory cutouts in it, like them squares, you can see them there as well. So obviously I'm going to now come up to that piece there, and we can probably go straight past it and join on with this piece. So again, another offcut of a bit of steel. So that's the next point of call. Let's crack on with that. I won't film it because it's exactly the same as this, but you get the gist. Right, as you can probably tell, the little torch is out, so I'm losing the light, so I haven't got much more time here. But that section's in, so from about there-ish, you can't kind of see there a little bit. It needs another little bit of... I'm not going to mad grinding it back because you can't see it, but I'm really happy with that. I mean, I can touch that with no gloves on and it's totally smooth. It's all linished off really nice. So I was just really chuffed with all the welds along here. So well happy with that. So that's been now trimmed down to size. So that's the next section in. So we'll grind that back. And then we've probably got less than half of it now to do. We can get away with this same section again up to about here. And then this corner gets a bit, I don't know. We'll work it out. But yeah, let's clean that back and then I'm going to lose the light. So back out to it tomorrow. We'll get this frame done. And then we'll work out what this door skin repair is all about and see if we can get that fitted. And we're back to it. We've got sun. So we left off last night with all of this section in. So from there all the way up to here in. Had a quick look in here and this is quite rotten. You can probably see it's heavily pitted and holed in places. So I've scribed out a square. We've got some scrap steel. So what I'm going to do is cut the bottom of this bit out. But if you'll look, the reason I wanted to get my head around it a little bit is you can't really see it on camera, but there's actually a bend in the door. So the door is straight there and then it goes up, like it curves around, and then this is tilted on an angle as well. So luckily the rot, if you can see, hasn't got into that bend. Basically where that primer is, with a really poorly painted door. You can see that they didn't really bother with paint in the factory, can't you? yeah, so where that bend is, I'm nowhere near it, so I can come down to like here, cut that out and put that piece in, and then we can then carry on with this all the way along. Now when I got to here, it was looking a bit overwhelming a little bit, because it's right on the bend and stuff like that. But if you actually look, there's a hole, 2 slots, and that's where another hole used to be. You can see where it was rounded a little bit. That is actually the same corresponding holes, drain holes and stuff, that are on the other side. So me thinking that was all jagged and all gone and all battered is actually factory holes. So what I'm saying is I can probably put that in there, bring the lip all the way back across up to here, piece in there, carry on and into the corner. So it's actually a lot easier than I was thinking. Should have more faith, shouldn't I? But yeah, so let's get that done, and then we can have a look at the skin. Before we get too giddy though and get cracking with that next repair, quite happy with where it is now, so it's really good. So I hope you're agreeing. Just offcut some metal, don't throw anything away. You can make all these little repairs up. I don't know if they do door bottom repairs for Novas. You can get the skin, he's bought the skin, but I don't know. But either way, we're saving it. So remember, keep your scrap metal. While I've got you though, remember to subscribe to the channel. We are really pushing towards 16,000 subs now, and it's pretty mental. So keep subscribing guys, keep liking these videos. I know stuff slowed down a little bit and we've gone on a bit of a side quest, but trust me, it's something that needed to happen in order to regain funds, regain time, and then get back into the workshop. And well, it's entirely up to you really. We either get back on with the Volvo Amazon estate, and we get back on with the minivan. So I'll leave it up to you. I want them both on the road. They're both my dream cars. So you're gonna have to drop in the comments and you're gonna have to let me know, because I'm happy to work on either. The minivan's very much set up for a restoration, very much easier to get in and out of the unit to work on. So, you know, it's on the rotisserie and stuff like that. So maybe that's the one we go for, or we keep plugging away with the Amazon. It's entirely up to you. You guys drop in the comments what you want to see, because I want you to enjoy this channel. I want you to subscribe. I want you to become members. I want you to become Patreons. I want you to buy merchandise. And ultimately, I really want this channel to hit 20,000 subscribers, because that's an ultimate dream. So please do that. Please subscribe. While you're there, go and check out Minimine. They're our sponsors. Yes, we're on a Nova video now, but they're our sponsors, long-term sponsors of the channel. There's a discount code on the screen now for when you spend £15 or more on our eBay store, you'll get 10% off your purchase. That little bit of money that you spend, a little bit of that comes back to the channel, and it helps us out massively. It keeps the bills paid, it keeps things kicking along really nicely. So if you're in for your classic minis, guys, go and check them out. Go and check out their eBay store. And if you need work doing on your car, go into their store in Stoke-on-Trent and go and chat to them, get your car booked in, mention me, say that you found me, and go from there. Right, I'm going to crack on with this Nova now. Let's do it. It's a big hole, and we need to fill it. Right, so that's us all set up with this little repair panel. I've got the intergrips back out. So anyone that's not familiar with these, they're really clever, really quite cheap to buy. Basically it's box, you can make them yourself to be fair. It's box section steel with a slit cut out and a wing nut through the top, but you can buy them really cheap. Then on the other side you've got a pin, and it gives you a nice gap. This is slightly bigger than I wanted in places. However, we're using scrap steel, so we do what we can. You can always fill it with weld. So yeah, but that's now held nice in place, so I haven't got to worry when I'm welding, and I can weld from this side as well, which is quite nice. So I might try and tip the door up a little bit so I can do that. But yeah, put a few tacks in, start working away. But they are really good grips, so if you haven't got any of these, a bit of a tip for you guys, definitely buy some. I've had these for years and they're definitely worth owning. I think you can buy like 10 for like 20 quid. They're not a lot of money, but yeah, let's get that in. Right, so that underside panel is now completely in and linished back. Really happy with that, so it's actually solid and looking good. So there's the next thing I want to do before thinking about putting a top piece on, and it's a hammer and dolly, nice and easy. I think this set is a Clark set. My brother bought me many years ago for Christmas. It's still going strong. It's on every single car I've ever done. There's 4 or 5 different hammers and 4 different dollies. They all get used. But yeah, there's a bit of a wave on this. The Magnum steel isn't very good, and this is an offcut of a Magnum panel. And all you need to do is just gently work your way. It's quite obvious where you need to hit. It's quite hard to explain, but you'll see the wave slowly disappearing. Don't just try and focus on one area, because all you're going to do is then distort that piece of metal in that way. Metal stretches, and without a shrinker you're never getting it back. I don't have a shrinker or a stretcher. I purely use molten metal to make stuff and bashing it around with a hammer. But that's kind of the old school way, isn't it, I guess? but just gently work it. All I'm trying to do is get the heat distortion out of this panel to give me the best. You can just look down the flank of it, so there's still a bit there in the middle, and you just pull it back. It's nice and easy. And all I'm looking for is to create this piece to go on there. I need this to be as flat and as uniform as the original part of the door and the original part of the door. So the piece in the middle is the you know, the bit that shouldn't be there as such. So if you can make that look as right as that piece, then you're going to be okay. So I'm quite happy with that. I literally didn't need a lot, but I thought I'd show you. Just grab yourself a cheap hammer and dolly kit. You can buy those on eBay and stuff like that, or Amazon. So I'm going to get this flank put in here right up to this next factory drill hole. It's quite good that we're retaining the drill holes. You know, you might never know that someone's been here. You never know. It's the bottom of a door, no one really looks, do they? But it's nice to know that you can make the best job you can. So just wanted to point out, I'm using the most basic of tools. I'm not at the workshop, you know full well that I've got better tools there. So I'm just using what I've got here, and happy with that. So I'm going to make this piece go on here. I won't film it, like I say, you've seen me do these two sections, but we'll get stuck into this bit because this now all curves and goes round, and that's going to be the challenge really of this bottom door. So I'm going to get this piece up and I'll bring you guys back in. So as you can see, we're right up to now where these factory holes are. So all of this, all the way along there, is now repaired, linished back, and I'm really quite happy with it. Then I've overthought this bit even more, haven't I? I always overthink it. So this is just another sheet of steel. So we've got the tab left in the middle, so we can come onto there, weld to that, round there, and then bend, weld as we bend that. Because basically this needs to twist round and follow the contour of the door there. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard to do really. So let's get that welded in. So I'll bring you guys back once I've got this in, linished back, and hopefully we've got a door frame, and then we can look at the skin then. Look at that. It was made for it. I've not even trimmed this bit of metal, I just found it in the scrap bin. This is all kind of tacked in where it needs to be. So you've got the end joining onto that, then you've got the factory gap, little tab welded, factory gap, then we've started to go around here. So as you can see, that's sticking up, but the door curves round. So now there's a bit of heat into it. You can just simply, very gently, don't have to use loads of force. So I've twisted that round now, and that, I mean, this panel was made for it. Let me try and get you a bit closer. So that still needs coming around a little bit more, but the gap is nigh on perfect. And then all we got to do is get some heat into that there, heat into that, tack that, and then we can weld the top piece along there. So that's how I'm doing this, guys. It's really not too difficult. It's quite hard to film out here in the garden, so I'm just bringing you in when I can. You guys love these driveway restorations, don't you? So back to our roots. But yeah, so that's now got a really nice curve to it, and it's following the contour of the door. So literally that's just a flat bit of steel. So just take your time with it, get some heat into it, and you can do wonders with scrap, basically. But look at it, look how solid the bottom of the door is. Lovely. So there we have it. The whole bottom of the door is now a thing. It now exists. Bear in mind that none of that, all the way up to about there, was even in existence. So we've repaired the inner, we've retained all the factory holes and markings, which I'm quite chuffed with, and it's all been built out of bits and pieces I've had kicking around. So this is actually folded around here, welded on really nicely. Now this is the lower skin repair panel, which was provided. Kind of fits on there like that. You can kind of see that curve, you can see it there in the light. So I think there's been some you can kind of see that same corresponding curve there. So I think someone's just obviously drawn a line going, that's how big the panel is, that's how much I want to put in. Now I don't want to do that, I'm not putting that much of the panel in, because I want to keep that swage line, because that is actually where the strength is. If I can keep that straight swage line, we are less likely to have loads of warpage. It's going to need filler, it's going to need prepping for paint, so we do the best we can on that front. So I think these markings show, you know, basically where the panel should be. Now looking at this a little bit more now, putting that panel on, I'm not sure if that should be completely folded or if that was damaged. However, we have folded it and it can easily move. You literally just pair of pliers, pulls it back up. So at the moment we followed the contours of what was there and what we thought was there. So I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. So I'm going to have a brew and a break. Nice cup of Yorkshire's finest. And then we will look to trim this panel down and get it in that massive hole. And it can go back on the car, we can call that done. Yeah, so yeah, welded along there and then it'll be folded around this new lip, just like doing a mini door skin. It's the same kind of vibe, I'm assuming. I've never done one, we're just practicing here. No, we're not practicing, we're giving it a good shot. But obviously before we do anything, we're going to put all of that in primer, but I'm not going to bother priming any of this because I'm going to scratch it off, test fitting that 100 times. So we're going to have a break, come back, cut that, get it to fit, prime that, seal it all inside. Then obviously I'm assuming Pete will wax it all inside to keep it nice and safe, but at least the door is in existence. I don't know how rare Nova doors are, but you know, this one was well worth saving. It was in really good nick really, considering the age of the car. So yeah, plan of action. Right, so back from the break, and I've cut the excess off the panel off like I said I was going to do. That bird seems to think it's funny. And what I've done is I've just basically laid it on top. I'm probably just going to take the door out now, use this as a guide basically, because this is exactly where it needs to be. What I might do before doing that is merely just tack it to the skin and then try it on the car, or do we just go for it? I'm not sure. I'm basically using the factory spots all the way underneath. It fits absolutely perfectly as well, so I'm really happy with that. So we must have done right with the repair. So yeah, I either do that or I just drop it down a little bit if I can get it off. It's a nice tight fit. I drop it down a little bit and cut off this new panel, but I'm thinking if I use this as my guide, because I've used the bottom of the door as my guide, then we might be okay. So I'm gonna have a bit more head scratching and go from there, but really it's quite a nice panel actually, and we're before that swage line where it bends. You can see it perfectly in the light now, so there's a kink there in the door and then it goes up. And I don't want to go near that because that's where the strength is. So that's why I'm thinking more cutting the panel than the door, but I'm just not sure yet. So I'm going to have a think. Right, so I've decided to do the right thing. The door is back in position. So I want to check basically the line of how it sits along the sill. So that is a really, really, really good line all the way along. Try and film it best I can, all the way along. And then that happens. So I want to see how it fits. I don't feel comfortable just welding it. So all along there, absolutely perfect. There's a bigger gap at the bottom there. So looking at the driver's side, there is actually a bigger gap there anyway. So, but let's try and make it look a bit nicer. So if we just drop this panel down a bit, like that, we've got the same gap now all the way around. So I'm now going to put a mark on there, so I know exactly where I want this skin to fit. So hold that nice and tight, like that. So now that fits really nice and uniform, I know I can now go weld this to that. So I am going to take a bit of the door out, a bit extra. Actually, I haven't really got to take that much out. It's just this line wasn't cut very straight on the door. But there is actually a little bit of corrosion coming in on this corner, so I'm actually going to get rid of the last of that. So yeah, let's cut that and then get this fitted. So with the door frame in a nice coat of primer, looking all swanky, we've also put some weld-through zinc primer on the back of this panel, because it's all protected. So I'm going to get this tacked on and then we're just going to double check on the car before a full weld. I think that's a good point to call. I feel comfortable like that. Right, so there we have it, all done. A couple of tacks. No, I'm joking. Right, no, so there's 5 tacks on there now, and I just wanted to put it back on the car. So when the skin's folded round on the return edge, I don't know how well that's picking up, but that is a really, really lovely gap. And I've managed to sit it down here exactly where I want, so it's nice and uniform all the way around. So now we've got a lot of welding to do, but there's a bottom on the door, so I'm buzzing with that. I'm really, really happy. That was a lot of welding. Still going, there you go. So that is the whole lower skin in, and basically like you saw, tack, 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 little stitch, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's gonna need body work anyway. I'm here to fit the panels, not to make it look pretty, but it is in, and there's minimal heat distortion, and to be honest, you really can't feel it. The door did have a little dent in it here at the lower part, but there isn't any extra, which is a really good sign. So I've taken my time. Obviously, if I was in the unit, I'd have an air gun to keep everything cool, and I could have gone a bit quicker, but it is quite cold out here and there is a nice breeze, so I'm just using nature to its finest. Look at this, love it. So now I've got to fold the edges around, so I'll flip the door over and I'll show you guys how you deal with that. Once I fold the edges around, then I'll linish it all back, but for now, that was a big panel in, and I'm well chuffed with that. Right, so if the door flipped over, it's quite a heavy door this, with all the glass still in it and whatnot, and all the door mechanism and all that kind of stuff. So I put some zinc primer all the way along here, and you can see that we now have to fold this lip over. So we've got this lovely tool, which we've had for a little while now from Frost Restoration. So with a nylon bush, and you just squash it down and it folds it round. But never try just to straight away use that. Do most of your bending with your hammer. So I'm just going to knock all of the edge round with a hammer, and then we'll finish it off with this. So these are a really handy tool to have. It's a proper heavy duty bit of kit this, and it's really worth having. I've probably done about 8 to 10 mini doors of it easily. It's a very handy tool to have. So let's crack on and use the same method here. Once this is folded, I'll put a bit of seam sealer all the way around it, and it's all locked in. There is some sealer and some primer between the panel, the skin and the frame. So we're doing our best to make sure it lasts. It'll probably outlive the car, but you know, that's what we do here. We try and make it last. So I'm just going to start knocking that round, put you guys on a time lapse, because you don't need to listen to 10 minutes or 15 minutes worth of bashing around with a hammer, and then you can see the finished result when it's done. It'll pull everything nice and tight, and it'll make this door finished. And there we have it, just as we're losing the light, finished. You can kind of see the swage line still in it there. Obviously needs a little bit of body work, but really, considering the environment we're doing it in, really nice job. Let's get it on the car now and get it fitted up, and then we can call this an overdone. There's a small patch to repair in the battery tray, but like I mentioned, I'll do that off camera. But look at that. Been a lot of work for that, to get that frame repaired, take a door skin. I'm pretty happy with that. And would you look at that, there's the door back on. Primer makes it look really, really wobbly, but genuinely it's not that bad. It's just where the different layers of paint are. There's quite a lot of red paint on this car. It's obviously had a bit of paint in its life, I think. It's quite thick. But yeah, there you go. So obviously that was all previously done. That's nothing to do with me. Seal's been done and tidied up. I'm going to put a bit of primer on that seal. But yeah, door done. Nova done. So as we lose the light this time of the year, I'll do a quick outro. So I hope you've enjoyed the Nova. It's been a bit different for me to do. I wanted to help Pete out with it. It's something he's needed doing for a little while now to get over the hurdle and get for paint. I have literally just got a repair to do in that battery tray. I'm not going to film it. The access is horrendous for me, let alone getting a camera in there. You don't need to see me weld a patch into a really confined area. It's just not fun. It's not going to be pretty. So I'll crack on with that off camera. But what have we done? We've done the roof. Completely saved the roof. We saved all the rear hatch, saved the boot floor, or finished the boot floor repair that someone else has started. All the surrounding rubber area, the hatch, tail hatch as well, that's all been repaired and reconstructed. We've done the door and door frame. We've done quite a bit of really weird niche little bits and pieces to this car. It's nice to work on a car that rots in a different way. As weird as that sounds to say out loud, because it's a different challenge, but we've done it. I really hope you really enjoyed it. I don't know how long this video is, but please remember to give it a thumbs up, comment away. We'll be back on with my project, so if you could please drop in the comments below, minivan or Amazon estate, which would you prefer to see? I'm going to try and focus on one and jump between the two, just because it's nice for me. But really, I need to get on one, get it done, get it over the hurdle. That's what I want to do. I've got plans in my life that I want to get done, and I would like just to get these cars done now. So if I can just focus on one, get it off the paint, I can crack on with the other one, get that one off the paint, and then I can enjoy them. That's the plan. But I need you guys to subscribe. I need you guys to follow along, because you're a massive support. And I'll be back on it with a bit more regular videos as soon as I can, please rest assured. So I'm going to crack on, get this thing covered back up, and get it arranged to be collected, I think. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this random side quest, and catch you next one.